All right, hey, thank you very much, Skybilz, for that very hype introduction. All right. All right, so welcome. She just said I'll be playing Mega Man 2, well, Rockman 2, the Japanese version. My name's coolkid, and with me I've got my dear friend, commentator Mythical9.
Hi, that's me. Happy to be here.
Yeah, I'm very happy to have you here because you'll help me. It'll be good. Anyways, let's waste no time. You guys want to see some gameplay, right? So let's go. Going in, 3, 2, 1, go.
And we're off. Rockman 2, any percent difficult. The first 3 stages are going to be Flashman, Heatman, and Airman because Dr. Light will give us items 3, 1, and 2, which are endlessly useful and unlock all kinds of movement options for all the other stages. Flash is first because the other items don't help as much in this stage as this item will help in the other ones. This opening route has actually been the same going all the way back to Seth Glass's run from 2010, the year of the very first Games Done Quick event. Seth is one of speedrunning's early greats who pushed the game forwards and, along with other members from the community, laid the groundwork for the runs that players are doing today. After Seth, the record changed hands between a few Japanese runners, Nijikutsu, Furemo, No One, and Shoka, as well as an American runner named Cypher, who took the game to just outside the 27-minute barrier, a 27:01, a time he got in 2014. I'll talk more about him and others during story time later in the run, but for now, let's get into it and talk about Flashman. Flashman jumps when you jump, so coolkid is going to carefully throw in some jumps to delay his movement across the screen while firing these turnaround shots in rhythm at the correct height. Then he's going to cross under, keep it up with the turnaround shots through the middle of the stage, kill him before the time stop, the flash stopper in the middle of the stage. Perfect opener to a Mega Man 2 run.
I was about to say, he jumps when you hit him when he's on the ground. I should have...
Okay.
Correct, I went through your notes. I missed
So
that
the
part.
jumps are just to get the right height as he's maneuvering around the stage.
Exactly. Time the shot so he jumps at a certain time so that he can just... Anyway, you keep going. All right, okay.
It's important. It's important to get it right. We got a weapon bet cutscene here. The series is known for these long cutscenes. They're so much longer on the English version of the game that the speedrun is slower on the English version, despite having an easier difficulty mode. I don't know if that says more about the length of the cutscenes or the skill of the players playing on the harder difficulty. But we're next on to Heatman. He's next because we can get another useful item to use on all of the other stages, but also because the item 3 that we can use here, it's a little bit weird. It kind of bounces along the ground, it latches onto a wall, and once it's there, it will sort of act as a platform. We're going to use it in a cheeky way right here. Nicely done, crossing that gap. Love that strat. We're going to use it to skip this Yoku block section, these appearing and disappearing blocks right here. Not going to bother with any of that. And we're going to use it to do our first zip. Place it on the wall, face right, get into the ceiling, A and left, and there is our first zip. This run has lots of zips, so I'll have plenty more chances to explain how that worked in more detail later. Right now, as coolkid walks a tightrope above an instant death pit for a while, I want to talk about the boss of this stage. Heatman will do a flame charge to where you're standing, so we want to minimize the distance he travels by standing next to him. But the charge is so fast, humans can't react to it, and it does a lot of damage. You also can't predict it because annoyingly Heatman will randomly hesitate for 30, 60, or 90 frames. That's a half second, a second, or a second and a half. The solution is to jump away at 30 frames, and then if he doesn't charge, now you have 30 more frames to react, pull back, and land right back in front of him just in time to jump again at the 60 frame mark, away, come back just in time for 90. The end result is this little dance with Heatman. We can actually sort of count here, 30, 60, 90. Oh, bad luck. 30, that one was good. 30, that one was good. You can count the jumps and see how much time that you're gaining or losing against Heatman.
Ooh,
there we go.
That was better than average.
Yeah.
That was better than average. An average split is usually around a low 420. Funny how that worked out for Heatman. But actually, I have splits running here in the background. We not gonna jinx anything.
It's the second stage, sir. You are
Yeah,
getting
second-
ahead of yourself.
Okay, whatever. Okay, go on. I wasn't gonna say anything interesting, but that was better than average. Just
You don't want to jinx it. Anyway, I love that strat because it's just such a high amount of effort to save such a little bit of time. I think it says a lot about the dedication that runners have put into the game over the years, that they're willing to work that hard for just those tiny little bits of time save. So we're on to Airman now. Defeating Heatman gives us the fantastic item 1. It's a floating platform that you can put almost anywhere. It gives us a ton of movement and zip opportunities. We're going to use it here to execute a strat we creatively call Fast Air, or at least a safer variation of it. We use the flash stopper on the screen that stops some dangerous drills from popping out, and then we switch to item 1. And now normally you're supposed to kill these cloud enemies and ride their platforms around, but why do that when we can make our own? We can't kill enemies while we have the item 1 equipped, so we're just gonna crash right into them or slip past them like that. Very slick, nicely done.
That was good.
Also,
I even got the despawn on the first enemy, which is really nice.
I saw that. I couldn't stop to point it out because it was just like there's so much going on in these games. But we'll see that again actually a little bit later on in the screen. We're going to use first the last our item 1s to get over these drills that we were freezing earlier, and we're going to kill this fan guy to get him off the screen as soon as possible so he stops blowing us. But coming up right here, we're going to do a little left-right wiggle, and that spawns this bird on the left side. So these deadly bird babies are at a safe distance behind us. And they also prevent more birds from spawning for a little bit, so they're not going to harass us on our way to the boss door, where Airman is waiting. He's got 5 different patterns he can shoot his tornadoes in, some of which are nicer than others. Ideally, we want one that won't block our shots from the ground. You can do these little hop shots like that to get them over some of the tornadoes. And if necessary, you can take a hit, and the knockback will sort of prevent you from getting blown back across the screen. So he was just about to jump. So killing him on the right side of the screen, generally that's like a kill that you're aiming for.
Yeah, I'd say, given the pattern that I got, that was good enough. Good enough for me.
Then it's good enough for me too. The next stage is Crashman. I'm going to call him Clashman. And it starts with a notoriously difficult trick. It's named Biggie, after none other than the big boy Cool Kid over here. And it's a zip.
Yeah, I used to be bigger, so that's why I was known as the big boy back in the day. Oh, I went to the wrong stage by accident, but it's fine.
Okay.
You have to scroll down the script now.
Oh no, I got to jump ahead. All right. Well, here's Woodman. Some of these stages can be slotted in like this, so you don't need the stuff from the other stages to do this one. So
you can play Woodman whenever you want after Airman, essentially. So this will work out.
You picked a good one to accidentally pick. So we're going to do a zip. Surprisingly, there's going to be a lot of these zips. Normally, I would have explained what a zip is at this point, but this is going to be just really mysterious. He is wiggling right and left. He needs to face right at the end of each of these screen transitions. That was very smooth getting through. This one is going to be a mess. I wouldn't even have tried to explain this anyway. It's just going to look really crazy. Basically, Cool Kid is playing through the rest of this stage based off of his memory. At one point, he's going to press the shoot button and down to grab a ladder on the same frame in a glitchy way that gets him into the ceiling to zip again. He's going to change to Heatman's weapon. Charging this is going to sort of cancel the death sound, the do when you die, and we are going to die right here. That's going to reset us after triggering the checkpoint in the boss corridor, so that's what we like to call good wood.
That was a really good stage. I'm surprised with how well I was able to do that.
I'm not. I've seen you be way too good in too many GDQ runs. That is not surprising to me.
Okay. Oh, yeah, my apologies. Okay, now we're gonna go to Crashman. Okay, now we're gonna go to Crash.
Yeah, we'll see. So it still starts with that difficult trick. It's still named Biggie.
Still.
And then it's a zip, and it's a vertical zip, and it gets weird. You appear to wrap around the screen and still be there, but you're actually on the next screen. It just doesn't update the background. However, the sprites, like your enemies and your platforms, are still there. So there's the platform, there's the second one, zip 1, zip 2, there it is. He got it. I don't know how he's so consistent at this incredibly difficult trick. but it is really incredible. So we need to take another death to sort of reset the world and make it make sense again after triggering the checkpoint. Again, changing to Heatman's weapon, charging it up, the sound overwrites the death animation, and that speeds up the respawn. And we've got these item 1s and item 3s that we're going to be using to speed up this climb. Whenever possible, Cool Kid is going to be grabbing a ladder off the top of the screen, and you're going to see Mega Man do this little zip upwards. And this is really great because, you know, it's a little bit faster, but also you can sort of like place an item before you zip and then kind of zip on top of it and jump immediately. Additionally, you can place an item 3 and immediately drop off the ladder, land on it, and jump again. And he's also making sure to face the correct direction so that these birds are spawning from the right and are just not being a total nuisance that they would be if they were spawning from the other direction.
See, I messed up the menu here.
Oh, okay, you've got Woodman's weapon. You're not supposed to have that.
I forgot. I was like, this is going well. I'm doing really good. Let's not mess up the menu. Oh, I got Woodman. That's fine.
It's fine. Yeah, the boss is totally free. He's dead. But that's a perfect illustration of menuing, actually. I wasn't planning on talking about that, but the menus are really important. Like, you lose time while you're scrolling around through the menu, choosing the weapon that you need to use, and you swap weapons all the time. So you have this sort of muscle memory built in of like, I'm going to press start and it's, you know, down, down, down A or whatever it is to get to the next weapon. So Cool Kid on autopilot did that same input, except he had this extra weapon he wasn't used to having. So he chose Woodman's weapon instead.
Yeah, he's fortunately not going to get in the way here in Quickman, so we're all good here.
So we're going to do a zip. I promised I would explain how the zips work. They come in a lot of flavors, but step 1 is always get into a wall. Sounds difficult, but it's surprisingly easy with items 1 and 3. The game doesn't check for Mega Man's collision with the ceiling when he rides one, so it just lifts him right up in there. Step 2 is trigger the zip. We're going to do one here. And he's going to face right just to spawn a little fire guy. That's going to turn the lights back on. Triggering the zip you can do with either the A or the B button, and you face left. This triggers the game's code to eject Mega Man backwards from a wall that he's not supposed to be in, and it does that very, very fast. So we use the flash stopper here to save us, because the screens were a little bit messed up, you could probably tell, and the quick beams were gonna kill us. So we grab an extra life there for a little backup strat, just in case.
Yeah, I like to play it safe.
And now we have a very dangerous zip to the boss door. Cool Kid needs to face right at the end of the screen to trigger the door, and he does. Okay, if he misses that, he's gone. He zips off the screen. He's wandering the ether of the game's memory values. It's a soft lock reset. So he avoided that fate. We're into the Quick Man fight, and we're just hoping for a good pattern. That was pretty good.
That was a good pattern.
I think anytime you don't miss any of your crash bombs, because when you miss, it sticks into the wall and you can't fire another one until it explodes. So you're just kind of waiting next to it, hoping that he's going to run into the explosion from the crash bomb. It's all you can do in that situation.
Okay, don't want to jinx it, but we're currently tied with the world record, but I'm going to lose pace soon. I have my splits open still.
You said it. You went and said it. You weren't supposed... All right. It's fine. Jinxes aren't real at all. This is Metal Man's stage. It's going to be slightly more normal looking. I mean, we are going to zip. We are going to do some horizontal zips, but the screen's not going to look weird. We're not going to break reality. Just a couple of brief, very brief detours into a wall and out the other side, like any normal man, Mega or otherwise, would do. That little zip there saves just a little bit of time, but is worth doing. We're going to place the item 2 nice and high so that we can ride it, jump up as the enemies spawn in. And we are to the boss door. Metal Man is coming up, and he kind of reads your inputs and reacts to what you do. And his weakness is the quick boomerang, which has this neat feature where you can hold the button to auto-fire it. So we can go into the fight already holding the B button. So he never really sees us press it, and he doesn't realize that we're just shooting him in the face the whole time. So as long as you don't cross the halfway point of the screen, he just stands there and dies.
One of my worst screens in a game is the first screen of Bobbleman. That's the screen is not that difficult, but it's a screen that I'm terrified of. So here we go.
Yeah, it's a little bit scary for sure. So when Mega Man gets hit, he flashes, and he's invincible for about 2 seconds. This is a common thing in video games, so you have a chance to respond to what hit you. And it's a common thing in speedruns to use this brief period of invincibility, or iframes, to pass through hazards. Oh, it happened! Oh, it happened.
It's okay, that's why I got the one up. Quick death.
Very quick, right at the start of the stage. Not a big deal. But safe to say, no longer world record pace.
No.
Do we have time for a couple donations?
Yeah, give me 2.
All right, awesome. I have 2 awesome ones here. $555 from Mr. Cab55, who says, we all know Cool Kid's awesome, so I'll be quick. This is the run where the marathon heats up. Don't look away because it'll be over in a flash. This run is definitely metal, and the skill bubble is not just full of hot air. If your stream crashes, it would be a crime, so Goodwood. Thank you so much, Mr. Cab. We appreciate that. And another community member here, $250 from LV Creed, who says, it's time, it's time. GDQ time is here once again, and as always, I'm here to donate to represent all the Mega Man runners that are performing in the event. Of course, Cool Kid will be killing it in Mega Man 2, but I also got to shout out my Mega Man X4 by Luis Miguel, Rockman and Forte by Ahmad, and even Mega Mem 2 in the awful block. Wait, that's my run. I guess I should be practicing by now? Nah, I'll be fine. Seriously though, good luck in all the runs this marathon, and I'll be wishing for GDQ success in supporting PCF. Back to you, Mythical. Great commentary.
Thank you, and thanks so much for those donations. He went for the double kill, and he got it. Oh my goodness. So bold.
That would have been bad if I died there, because that would have been game over.
It would have been. You would have had to do the whole stage again. Oh, wow.
It's fine, we have time. We have a generous estimate. It's okay.
Yeah, if you hit the spikes, as long as you get that last hit on Bubble Man, it doesn't matter that you are dead. So you're also like way at the top of the screen for the...
Besides, after that death, I had to make up some time. But yeah, we're definitely not world record pace anymore.
That stage was phenomenal, by the way. I like the second try was like beautiful.
Yeah,
we're on to the Wily stages. This is the sort of the finale of any classic Mega Man game, the various levels of Dr. Wily's fortress, and from now on, we don't get full refills of all of our weapons between stages. So our precious items that enable so much movement and zipping need to be rationed carefully, and mistakes can have a lasting impact. If you do something in one stage and use too much energy, you're gonna need to make up for not having it in a later stage. So sometimes there's some improvisation involved. There's also these obstacles here that require you to use the item 1, so we're gonna see some of that. We're gonna see an unrequired use of item 1 to do a vertical zip on this screen, triggered by pressing A at the top of the screen. When we reappear on the next screen, we're kind of way up at the top, and then this guy, he's gonna shoot us in the face. We can do all these wonderful things in this game, but we don't have a solution for getting past a guy in a narrow corridor. These platforms need to be placed very carefully, and yes, that is gonna let us do one more zip up to the top of the screen. I'm glad everyone's digging the music. This really is the Mega Man song. And now I know many of us know what's coming up at this point, but anyone who doesn't, please enjoy the sudden appearance of my favorite big, dopey, grumpy friend right here. I love this guy. He just pops up, he chases you. He made the mistake of having no invincibility frames when he gets hit though, so you can just kind of mash the quick boomerangs in his face for a really fast kill.
The flashing gets pretty bad on some of these Wily bosses, especially the final boss.
That's
keep that in mind.
That's a good point. If anyone is sensitive to flashing lights, do what you got to do to take care of yourself. Basically every boss fight from here on out.
I'm just about to jinx myself again. I hope I don't mess up this first zip in this stage. Here we go.
Here we go. It opens with some careful shots on these spring copter guys. And then we're going to switch to item 1. We are going to take damage and walk on the deadly spikes just long enough to set up for the zip. That's good.
Oh, I did a mistake.
He's going to pause a lot. He needs to pause a lot to extend the zip far enough to get to the ladder.
So that happens if you initiate the zip on the first frame possible. It's not beneficial to do it there, but it's okay. You can still make it. Just barely.
Wow.
gotta know your backups. Gotta know them backups.
Oh man, it was simultaneously like a mistake, but then also like an expert recovery. So I don't know whether to like shame you or praise you for what just happened, but it was great. Thank you so much for that. We didn't get any drops there, so we don't have to waste time waiting for the meter to fill up for ammo we don't need. And now we're going to use Flash Stopper to freeze these crushers so we can just breeze right through. And then one just last final drop into the boss fight. It's a pretty... Oh, you went the cheeky way. You slipped in between those spikes.
Yeah, it's because I made a little movement mistake, so I had to make up time. See, the boss fight doesn't start... well, it doesn't start until you run out of Flashman's weapons, so... Well, there we go. That's good.
You had a bus to catch, so you wanted to hurry up and make it.
Precisely.
So this boss is pretty easy. He does the same thing every time, so you just kind of throw metal blades at him. He's got a cute name. He's called Pico Pico Kun, which is a sort of Japanese onomatopoeia for the sound a robot makes. So if I had to translate this, I guess I would call him Mr. Beep Boop, which is cute. I like that a lot. Wily 3. Go ahead.
The boss's weakness, I can't speak, is actually bubble lead, but just faster killer metal blades.
Yeah, and being able to shoot on the diagonals and stuff is so good. Wily 3 is really easy. So it's story time. We left off in 2014 with Cypher's 2701, and for the past 7.5 years, only 2 other runners have ever held the record. The first was Elo Ninja, who kind of dominated the game for 4 years, really refined and perfected the strategies and techniques. He was so good that it was surprising and exciting when after those 4 years, Cypher came back and took the record again. And it was even more exciting when coolkid started playing alongside him and the two began pushing the run and each other further than ever. After the dust settled, the time shared by both players was 26:37, with coolkid just 10 frames faster than Cypher. So just one of those wonderful little stories in speedrunning. We got a tricky zip here. Looks like he's got it. Facing right to trigger the boss.
Okay, don't want to overzip that. If I overzipped, I don't soft lock, but I would have to die, so careful.
We're going to fight the Guts Dozer here. We're hoping for 3 jumps. Oh, a little bit early on that first jump, huh?
A little bit, yeah, a little bit.
It's possible to do it in 2, but it's real. You got to be so on point with the mashing, and it's so tight. You need to adjust your position a little bit because he's moving towards you, right? So there's a lot going on there. It's not so easy as just mashing the B button.
All right.
Wily 4. Sometimes speedrunners give clever names to the things in their games, and sometimes they call a stage Purple Hell. Well, what earned Wily 4 this name is the density of difficult tricks that cost huge amounts of time and or kill you if they go wrong. We start out by using up the rest of our item 3 ammo on this vertical climb. There's a couple of false floors. We just kind of slip right through that one there. We're going to use an item 3 at the very top of this climb, and it's going to put us into the ceiling a little bit for one last zip down the hallway. Again, pausing to sort of extend the zip down the ceiling, and now for the scary stuff. We're going to take this hit, walk along the spikes. This is the scary one. One more hit for some iframes. Yes, he got it. It's the under and over. Perfect. It's not over yet. Down low on the ladder. Item 2. One more damage boost. And then item 1. I love the way this room looks. It just flows so smoothly. Oh, look at it. Wonderful. But it's not over yet. There is a zip into the boss fight. Again, facing right. Oh, this is such a good stage. All right. We need to use crash bombs to take out all of this stuff in this horrible boss fight. And we're going to try to get 2 for 1 in as many cases as possible. So this position right here, I think that's good to get both walls. Yes, and then a damage transfer. This is a mysterious sort of glitch where you run your face into it as the crash bomb explodes and you deal damage. You save 2 crash bombs for later in the run. This is extremely difficult to do. You pulled it off.
I'm so relieved that I didn't die in that stage. Wow.
This has been a fantastic run. Like, what, the Bubble Man thing? Like, that's it, right? Like, everything else has been phenomenal.
Okay, here we go.
Classic Mega Man boss refight stage. Airman is first. We want a pattern that lets us hit him with some buster shots and some leaf shields right away. Just like that.
Yes.
Perfect.
That's the perfect pattern, 1 in 5 pattern. And that quick kill is really hard, one rounder.
Heatman is the same as before, but Bubble Lead does more damage, so we're still gonna do these jumps. We got a 30, 30, 30, 60, 90. Okay, not too bad. We're gonna go to Woodman. Same as before, we're gonna use the air shooter. Jam it through his shield. Air shooter's good too, because it's also the weakness of Clashman, so we're gonna go over and take care of him next while we still have it equipped. This is just as easy as it was before. Next is the really hard part. Quickman, we need to save those crash bombs, so we have to fight him with the Buster. He's really tricky. Every time he jumps really high, you can't hit him anymore. Very hard to predict. In fact, basically impossible to predict.
So that did not want that health, but that's fine.
That's fine. Tough pattern, but you did really good. Bubble Man, again, we're hoping for less luck. And then the Metal Blades are so versatile, you can just stand there and throw them at him as he moves around the room. Metal Man, weak to his own saw blades, funny enough, so goodbye, we're out of here. And Flashman takes a lot of damage from the blades too, so we're gonna alternate low, high, low, high, low, high. Again, jumping every time that you shoot. And now we're on to the Wily Machine. This is why we kept the 2 crash bombs. We're gonna soften them up with some metal blades and then try to place these crash bombs just so. There it is, that's phase 1. Second bomb for phase 2. Yes! Oh boy. What a good run.
Good. Yeah, it's been very good. Could be below 27 minutes, even with the death, which would be... Okay. All right, see if I get this zip.
The silence is so tense at the end of the run. Like Cool Kid said, there's just one final zip, and again, we're gonna face right at the end of it.
So time is as soon as he has 0 health, and this boss fight flashes a lot. So
Yes.
Crazy amount of flashing here.
Everyone be careful. The boss is weak to bubble lead. It's awkward to mash the B button while it's within reach, and you can only have 2 shots on screen at once, so any missed bubbles travel across the screen and hinder your ability to shoot. If you miss twice, you can't attack at all until they're gone. We want to kill him on the right side of the screen. Ready on the timer.
Oh my god!
Oh, there it is. Oh, the one last hit. Time.
That was going to be below 27 minutes, but then I missed the final jump, I think. Anyway, that was a good run. Despite that, that was still a good run, I'd say.
That was a great run.
Thank you. Thank you. Great commentary, too. Yeah.
Well, thank you. Cool Kid is... you are an immensely talented, dedicated person. You bring a positive energy to the community. I'm proud and grateful to be here commentating this run. So thank you so much for having me.
That was great. My pleasure. And yeah, shout outs to, well, I don't know. I didn't have any shout outs planned, but yeah. I like this run, and I'm gonna keep playing it after AGDQ.
That's right. I never got to finish, but Cypher did retake the record this year, July 10th. He found those 10 frames and a couple more. He improved the record by a couple seconds. So you've kind of been on a quest lately to try to take it back.
Yeah, the quest shall continue, but for now, I mean, AGDQ shall continue, right? So yeah, enjoy the rest of the marathon, everybody. Thanks for having me.
All right, let's hear it one more time for Cool Kid, Mythical, and Mega Man 2, or as they say, Rockman 2. This was Rockman 2. So thank you all so much for that. We appreciate that. A couple more donations here. We have $50 from Rob Draven, who says, Cool Kid running Mega Man 2? Shut up and take my money. Good luck to all the runners in the marathon. We have a $4,000 donation from Gravis, who says, Hey GDQ, this is Gravis, aka Cathode Ray Dude. My girlfriend's mother passed away last month after a several-year battle with ovarian cancer. Of all cancer's cruelties, one of the worst is how it can drag on and on, so you can't know whether someone will be around for years or gone tomorrow. This donation is from the Cathode Ray Dude YouTube community, who were incredibly generous in putting this money together. We all offer our hope that humanity will someday defeat this terrible disease. Put my donation towards the Crash Team Racing Glitch Run. Thank you so much, Travis. We appreciate that from the community as well, too. And now, speaking of community, coming up, we do have an interview between Keizaron and Dr. Jordana Phillips of PCF. Take it away.
Hello, everyone at AGDQ 2022 Online. Keizaron here, or better known as Steven when I do these charity interviews. And I am here with Dr. Jordana Phillips. How are you doing today?
Really, really fantastic. I'm so happy to be here with you.
Now, I believe you're based out in the Boston area, correct?
That's right. I'm a breast radiologist at Boston Medical Center in the heart of the city of Boston.
Now, you did just mention breast radiologist, but just to kind of delve into it a little deeper, what is your focus when it comes to, cancer prevention, just kind of in general?
So generally speaking, breast radiologists take care of all different types of breast diseases, some that are cancer and some that are not cancer. Our main area that we work on is for breast cancer screening, which is how to find breast cancer before women can feel it or see signs of it on their breasts. But we also address any symptoms that women might have, so breast lumps or breast pain or any discharge that might be coming from their nipples. We deal with all of that in breast radiology. We help do the pictures that we need to do in order to figure out what's going on. And we also sometimes we do the procedures in order to really get a sense as what, if we see a mass or something, what it might represent. So that's kind of what a breast radiologist does in general. And my area of interest is really to figure out or to work with people to figure out a better way of finding breast cancers. Not to say that I always have to say mammography is wonderful and everybody should get a mammogram, but we know that it's not perfect in women who have dense breast tissue or in women who are at high risk for breast cancer. So there are a number of us that are always looking for a better test, a better system to find breast cancers easier.
Now, this kind of makes for a really good segue here. Just a reminder to everyone at home that all your donations are going towards the Prevent Cancer Foundation, and it does help towards research grants. And on the topic of trying to find, a better wheel, a better mammogram, this gives us kind of a chance to talk about what your grant focuses on.
Yeah. So like I said, I'm looking for something better than mammography. And there are some tools that are already out there. And some people that are watching might have had one of these, maybe a breast ultrasound or a breast MRI. Breast MRI is really the best test that we have. The challenge with some of these tests, though, is that they're not offered universally everywhere around the country. They're often offered in cities and not places in rural parts of the country may not have access to an MRI. These exams are very expensive. Women can get claustrophobic if they have to get an MRI because they have to go into this tube. It's very loud and noisy. And so even though we have these additive tools to help us do a better job finding breast cancers, they're not really available to all women in an equal way across the country. So the area that I'm particularly interested in is something called a contrast enhanced mammogram, which the beautiful thing about it is that it's just like a regular mammogram, but with the addition of a contrast agent. So the experience for women is all the same. We can use the same equipment, which is universally available across the country, across the world. And we get the same information with a contrast mammogram as we would with that best exam with that breast MRI. But we don't need to have that breast MRI to do it. So it's far more affordable. It's faster. It's more available. And so I'm interested in it because it means I can provide that higher level of care to more women who really need it, who don't have access to this advanced imaging technology. So contrast enhanced mammography has been around for quite some time. It was developed nearly a decade ago, but it's taken a little while for it to be implemented more broadly across the country. And in large part, that's just because, change is hard and we have other imaging tests that people are using. So what I'm hoping to do with the help of the Prevent Cancer Foundation and all the gamers out there is to get contrast enhanced mammo into clinics And the way to do that is to show how well it does in clinical practice. So what we're doing is we're creating a national registry with the help of the American College of Radiology, and we are taking in people's experience, the innovators, the people who have started to use contrast mammo already, and we're collecting their results so that we can tell everybody this is what it's like when it's used clinically. These are how many cancers we find. And we can also identify what some of the challenges are with introducing it clinically so that practices can make a really informed decision about whether or not they want to include it. And my expectation is that once we start doing this, people will be offering it all over the place because it's really a phenomenal test. So thank you, Prevent Cancer Foundation. That's where the money is going, is to develop this really incredible national registry. It's a research registry that has yet to be, there is nothing like it at the moment.
Now, friendly reminder to everyone, the first word in the charity is prevent, because we're trying to prevent cancer from ever being an issue. For those at home that aren't able to maybe go to the hospital as quickly as they need to, or might not have the available resources or something, with your experience in the field of breast cancer, what are kind of some of your tips and I guess advice for self-exams or anything like that for anyone who can't necessarily get checked for potential breast cancer right away?
So this is a real issue right now, especially with hospitals being so short-staffed. I'm sure most people are well aware that hospitals are just hemorrhaging employees. And on top of that, COVID has been a real problem in terms of access to care in any type of practice setting. So there's a real chance that somebody might be at home and want to go to the hospital, want to have an imaging exam, and they're not able to get that appointment or get to their practice. So it's really important, number one, to keep trying, because really the best thing to do is to go and see your care providers, but also to perhaps do a self-exam at home. There's a lot of controversy or some discussion about whether doing a self-exam is good for women. And I say that not because knowing your own body is a bad thing, but it can cause quite a bit of stress for people if they feel something or they feel something that they think is different than it was before. So if you go into it recognizing that a far majority of the time our breasts feel lumpy, that's normal. But if something is new or different, get somebody else to look at it with you. Have somebody else examine your breast, maybe your doctor, maybe a close partner, so that you can determine, is there something here that needs to be addressed sooner rather than later.
Well, thank you for taking the time to not only talk about what you do, but the grant that you have with PCF to not only help people, but to help them faster and better. It's always amazing to hear just what these dollars go to. And I hope everyone at home has a little bit of a better understanding about what Jordana does. But thank you so much for taking the time out of your day for this interview. I hope that you have a fun rest of the week along with everyone else at home who's watching AGDQ 2022 online. Again, I'm Keizaron. I was joined with Dr. Jordana Phillips. I still cannot talk. That has not changed since the history of me being part of GDQ. And I hope that all of you have an amazing, fun-filled weekend.
Thank you so much.
All right, folks. Thank you so much from Keys and Dr. Phillips again. We are going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Awesome Games Done Quick 2022 online, powered by Twitch. Couple donations here before we get started on our next run. $25 from Mark Doesn't Tweet, who says, great commentary on the Mega Man 2 run. I learned something today. I think we all did. It's great. Bobbert donates $100 saying Flareon is the best Final Fantasy. And I believe with that, I've been given the green light by staff. Thank you so much again. You wanted it. You donated for it, chat. Here we go with Metal Gear Solid 2 Substance by Apache Smash, Blindfolded Tinker. Good luck and have fun!